Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. That's not a coffee, that's not a glass of wine, that's notes, so I don't forget anything. So there's not a lot of room up here. Well, actually there's an awful lot of room, but it's empty space most of it. Anyway, 2023 Project Orchids. This is how it's going to be. So this is the design basically, but not selecting the orchids yet. That will be done in tomorrow's video. So tomorrow's video will be a look at and a reason why a set of orchids might be included, and then you get to vote. Now it's going to be a vote where you might not want to join in, and I know some people are not that interested in the Project Orchids as a subject, but it's going to be very different this year, and hopefully there will be something for everybody. Therein lies a clue. Right, so how's it going to be then? Starting in February, so not long to go, we will be selecting 8 orchids. That will be done with your help, so you get input. And there will be a 2023 Projects Orchids video every week. So with 8 orchids, it will take 8 weeks to get through them, which is 2 months. And then they cycle round again. So that brings back in the way we were doing them last year, because we were doing a video every 2 months. This will be the same, but the videos will be for each individual orchid this time. So if you think about it as the year goes on, orchid number 1 will have a video beginning of February, beginning of April. Yeah, you get the idea? And at the end of the season, we've got a set of videos for that orchid, not jumbled up with others that you might not be so interested in. So it unfortunately will allow people to just miss orchids out because they're not interested in them, but hopefully there will be some that you will be interested in that you can then follow right through the year. So that's the general idea. The variety will be included, and I'll do it in such a way that no matter how you vote, we will still have a variety of orchids. That'll be my bit. Okay, so that's that. But as we go along, I will be covering the care of the type of orchid, the sort of environment it would prefer, yeah, getting all that sort of stuff. And does it change through the season? Does it prefer brighter light, shadier, certain times of year? We've got a year to do it, so we can cover the progression of the environment suitable for that plant for the whole season, which will include, like say, with a resting dendrobium, it'll start with it resting, coming out of resting, blooming, and going back into its rest as a set of videos, yeah, for instance. Okay, so it's effectively a video log of each orchid separately. Now they will just be the 2023 Project Orchids until we get to the end of the year. And then I will do something a bit different, because I will create a playlist for each individual orchid. So the playlist will cover a season for that orchid. And I think that would come up and be very useful for people in searches. Maybe. So as we go through the season, what might we expect? The care guide, seasonal care guide for each orchid. Some orchids don't have real seasons, but some have very distinct ones, so we can go over that. Should include a repot, if appropriate. And again, some of the selection criteria will be such that I know the repot's coming up. We get to see a repot as part of it. We should also see buds and spikes develop and turn into blooms. Growths starting and maturing. All of those sorts of things. We've got a whole season for each plant. We might watch some die. Well, it has happened before, hasn't it? And we can cover watering and feeding, and perhaps how that might change through the season for each individual plant. So that's the concept. That's how it will be, how it is. And the selection of the orchids will be done in tomorrow's video, which will include a look at the options, and I mean a look, we'll get the plants and we'll look at them as they are now, very quick chat about them, what might happen to them in the year, but just an outline, otherwise I'll have done most of the first video, won't I? And then we'll make the selections. Now I'm not quite sure how we're going to do the selections, because if we're going to end up with 8, we've got to start off with quite a lot more than 8, so that might end up being a very long video. But also the ability for people to vote. There is a mechanism whereby, I forget, community section, you can actually set up a vote in its true form, and people can, not everybody can get at that part of YouTube. Everybody, I believe, apart from very, very few restrictions, can get at the comments. So we'll do it via the comments. That's how we've done things before. Now it makes a lot of work for me, because I've got to go through each individual comment, and like I'll do a little spreadsheet and think, right, you've chosen number 1, 4 and 5, and yeah, and you don't have to choose 8. Yeah, you just choose 1 if you want. It would put a bit of a bias if everybody did that, but nonetheless the voting part of it is for you to do. So that's what's going to happen, and we will be starting in February, and it puts the onus on me to keep up with it and not let it lax. And I think it will be a bit more interesting for me as well. We'll be doing a different orchid each week, and I was going to say I might set a day, but there would be a little gap, because obviously there is more than 4 weeks in a month. Oh, you noticed? Well, except 1. So that's what we'll do. The odd few days at the end of the month we'll just let go. So what I might do is that the Project Orchids will be on the same day every week, and see if that'll work. Yeah, so let's say we start, say it's going to be Wednesday, for instance, a midweek video. So that'll be Wednesday for 4 weeks. But there's going to be some problems, because if I choose Wednesday, it might be the 1st of the month, 1 month, and then it might be the 6th of the month the next month. I'll work something out, and doing it on the same day every week might not be the best of ideas, but I'll have a look into that and see if it can be worked. Just have a quick look at the calendar and see how the days fall, really, see if it would be a mess. Yeah, so that's the idea. You get, on this video, you get to say what you think, and if you think there's a way of improving that, please make the suggestion. I mean, there will be 2 things will happen, nothing, or it gets included. If you don't say it, I don't know, do I? So I'm quite happy for people to make suggestions for how, yeah, and then you get to vote on what. So you're taking part in this. And hopefully this is going to be a lot more inclusive this time round, and therefore more people will watch the Project Orchids, because in the past lots of people have said they like the Project Orchids, but I don't get the high number of views that I get on some of the other types of videos. So let's hope that puts some of that right. And I'll see you tomorrow for some fun and games and some more detailed looks at some orchids for you to choose. See you tomorrow. Thanks for dropping by.